Well, so today we're talking with Representative Brad Buckley about a transmission project that is proposed to cut 200 miles across Central Texas. Obviously, a good portion of that area, House District 54, your district. Uh,
Correct.
you've been hearing a lot about this, I would imagine, over the last few days. Any general thoughts just off the tip of your tongue about what's being proposed here?
Well, first of all, this issue came before the citizens of House District 54 very quickly and with very poor notice. Back in June, there was a poorly advertised public meeting that basically was held in a venue that might hold 75 people. Hundreds of people showed up when they got wind of the meeting. It really wasn't a true question and answer session. It was maps on easels. It kind of looked like a science fair. That's not good enough. There's so much concern across House District 54 about this project, about health concerns, about quality of life concerns, and about property values and property rights. And so, I think it's important that we hear the facts about the project. And I'm calling on Encore to hold a real public meeting in a venue that can host, that's large enough to host those interested in being there and stand before the people of House District 54 and answer questions about just what we're doing here. This project is unlike any other we've seen in Texas. The size of the towers, the voltage that will be carried, it is of utmost importance that they stand before the people of my district and Bell County and really explain this project.
Do you have some of your own questions? I feel like you said, a lot of residents kind of in the Salado area really feel blindsided, caught off guard by this. Is that where you are too? Are you caught off guard by this
Well,
proposal really
yeah,
impacting your district?
sure. Yeah. There's proposed lines that will run very close to where I live. If you look what happens in Bell County, I mean, it goes everywhere. I mean, it's a spider web of potential routes. Here's what's interesting, Bailey, is that the local Encore representatives were sort of taken off guard about the local meeting. This meeting was set up by someone outside of their purview, and our local representatives from Encore have been great to work with. Throughout the power outages we've had in the past, our wonderful linemen that work for Encore, they were always out helping people get their power going, very receptive to our needs. And when I visited with them the day after the quote public meeting that they had, they found out like 2 days before. And so, it hasn't been handled well. And what my constituents deserve is to know why we're doing this. We know we have transmission problems in Texas, and we certainly know what happened during Winter Storm Uri, and we understand we're going to have to do some things. But the public deserves to know more about this project. It's unlike any other that's ever been in the state of Texas. And so once again, we have to get in front of this, and I intend to pull every lever I can pull to make certain that the citizens of House District 54 get the answers that they deserve.
I feel like a lot of people are fired up about the E1 section. I'm sure you've looked into detail about this spiderweb looking map. The E1, the way it curves in, just, brushing against those neighborhoods, some new neighborhoods close to the new high school, close to the new elementary school.
Yeah.
They are also an understanding that, okay, if this does need to happen, maybe there's a way to do this where it doesn't go through such highly populated residential areas. Is that something you would like to see as well? Like, if this does need to move forward, I mean, overall, people don't want this to happen at all. But if it does have to happen, how can we limit the damage done to so many property owners, private lands?
Yeah. You hear from the people. That's what's lacking here. It was a really poor effort of notifying folks. I talked to some constituents yesterday that live very close where this line will be that received no notice. There was a certain requirement to receive notice, and the maps have some detail, but in my opinion, they lack real detail that folks are entitled to see. And that's why we need to have a broad discussion about this so that we can really look at other options. There's three options on the table. I think it's also important to understand that this is the beginning of this process. It is highly likely this will be a contested project, and the issues will go to court, and folks will get to testify. And I intend to intervene on behalf of my constituents to make certain that their family's health, their quality of life, and their property values are not adversely impacted by this project.
You mentioned earlier there is a growing need for the Texas power grid. A lot of people have been floating around House Bill 5066. That was
Mhm.
in the 88th legislature. Did a little bit of digging. Obviously, saw that you voted yes for that bill to
Sure.
support bringing power to the Permian Basin area. When you voted yes for this legislation, did you have any idea that this could be impacting your district so severely at the time? Was there not enough information brought to legislators on how this was going to happen to get more power to obviously the great state of Texas, but also mainly to the Permian Basin?
Well, absolutely not. The bill did not propose any routes. It did not authorize any power lines. It basically authorized a process to look at areas of Texas that were underserved, and certainly the Permian Basin, being an important economic driver, and also important, for things that are important to energy production, natural gas that powers the power plants that make the electricity. So all that, certainly is worth noting, but it didn't detail where routes would be. I mean, the Public Utilities Commission just 3 months ago, I believe, sort of authorized a project, and then it was poorly advertised. Like the public meeting was not sufficient, and that's why folks are caught off guard. I mean, I'm the state representative. I didn't receive notice. I had no idea the meeting was going on, nor did I realize a transmission project was under development. I think it's also important to note that as current law stands now, that a transmission project does not have to be authorized by the legislature. It is outside of our purview, but it's not outside of our purview to demand that these projects be vetted with the public, and that we take a deep look. You've got corporate interests that are digging in on this that really aren't taking into account the impact it can have on people's lives and their property values and their quality of life. And so I intend to stand with my constituents to make sure these questions are answered, and that we find a route, if we must, that does not impact folks in such a severe manner.
Two more questions for you. One is just your overall wrap up. I don't want to get into too specifics on where you live, but you mentioned this could impact your property too. Did you receive notice that it could impact your property? How close is this to your property? Because we got a guy out there that has a proposed line 75 feet from his house. That just seems ridiculous.
No, absolutely. I was not impacted like those property owners, but it's close enough that my neighbor across the road from me called, um, and mentioned that was, I think, a day or two after the meeting, of which he tried to attend and couldn't get in because there wasn't enough room. And then, from what I understand, is that we've had no ability to talk with the engineers, the general counsel, and folks for Encore, to say, to ask them the real deep dive questions about the project. And so, we will continue to stand together as citizens of Bell County and House District 54 to make certain that we get our questions answered, and that we tell them we don't want these power lines in our backyard.
Anything else you'd want Central Texans to know, your constituents in House District 54, and maybe the entities in charge of this?
Yeah. Here, what people need to do is make sure that they weigh in. And we've had them posted on Facebook, and that is phone numbers and email addresses where folks can weigh in with their concerns to Encore and to LCRA. A portion of the lines are LCRA lines, sort of halfway between the two, where it traverses over those several hundred miles. Folks need to weigh in. They need to tell everybody what's on their minds, how this impacts them. And that right there is really important as we look at folks that are impacted, so that we can intervene when it's appropriate, so that we can make sure that we have a thorough discussion about this, and we find a solution. And from what I can see with the maps right now, there is no solution on the maps that I've seen in Bell County.
All right. Well, thank you, Representative Buckley, for your time. I have a feeling this is going to be something we revisit, hopefully, as this process does continue. So we'll keep in touch. And I think your constituents are happy to see you getting involved, making your statements on Facebook. And they've been all interested to hear what you had to say about this. So
Absolutely. Thanks for the opportunity to be with you, Bailey. Thank you.
thank you. Have a great rest of your day. Appreciate
All
you and
right.
your
You
team.
too. All right. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.